One is called Albert, and he was a very active lucid dreamer. How many of you here actually have tried lucid dreaming? Tried lucid dreaming. So Albert was an active lucid dreamer, and he had a dream one night that he was high up in the mountains, and he was sledding down, and he saw hundreds of stars all around him. And then we have our second dreamer, Elias, who had a dream 50 years before Albert, and he had dreamt that he was taken by a group of savages to a place far, far away, and they were all threatening him with his life with spears, and he was circulated all around him like these scary people. And then many years later, we have our third dreamer, Larry, who was the same age as Albert and Elias, in his mid-20s, and he had a dream that he saw all the world's stories in front of him and the links between them. Now, these three dreamers and their three dreams have impacted our worlds, have shaped our reality, and changed our day-to-day lives. So, the word dream. Most of us think of sleep when we hear the word dream. We do spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping and therefore dreaming. But we also actually, according to a Harvard study from 10 years ago, spend 48% of our days daydreaming. So the moments that you're thinking about your future company, or the moment that you're having a fantasy, or the vision that you have with your loved one. These are all daydreams. And recent studies show actually that daydreaming is super valuable for our cognitive function. However, these numbers, which as I've just shared with you means that we're spending more than half of our lives dreaming, are declining. And they're declining because of this. So I'm going to drop it now. And this phone is affecting our imagination and the way we interact with our dreams. So think about yourselves when you're standing in the grocery store, or when you're stuck in traffic on the bus or in your car. What are you doing? Are you turning to your phone? What has happened to looking outside of the window and dreaming? And when you're in a concert and you're supposed to be connecting to your heart and reflecting with your mind, are you actually spending more time capturing the moments in the concert with your phone? Think about yourself and think about the last time that you truly let go and dreamt, and that being without any mind-altering substances, just pure dreaming. And I think of today, in today's world, where creativity can actually take us the furthest and make us the greatest innovators of all time, and why we're not actually using this source of enlightenment that we're doing every day, dreaming. So I've been interested in this subject for many years, and I started a company 5 years ago called Dreamy, which actually turns our dreams into reality. So we're working with artists all over the world, and you can send a dream that you've had at night, or a dream that you have for the future of your country or of your business, or even your bucket list of dreams for the year ahead. And then these artists turn them into art, and you get them at your doorstep 2 weeks later, printed on multiple surfaces, from prints, yoga mats, and phone cases. I feel like I'm in a dream with all the lights moving. So these artists then turn your dreams into reality, into art. It's actually Google's vision turned into art. And afterwards, you see it there. And these bucket list dreams that I shared with you, so a lot of the dreamers have shared with us that over 90% of their dreams came true. So once they had their bucket list dreams visualized and they were in front of them, it was so much easier for them to actually fulfill their dreams. So dreams, creativity, we need to think about our imaginations more. We need to spend less time reading as much information as we can and more dreaming with ourselves. And Albert Einstein did say that imagination is more important than knowledge. So think about yourself. Would you say on a day-to-day basis, would you say that you're spending more time acquiring knowledge or imagining? And now I want to return to our dreamers. Albert, our first dreamer. I guess we all know which Albert I'm talking about. So Albert was sledding down the mountain very fast, and as he reached the speed of light, he suddenly noticed that the stars all around him had changed shape and size according to him. And the next morning, Albert Einstein started to work on one of the greatest scientific theories of all time, the theory of relativity. And then we have Elias, our second dreamer, who had been captured by these savages, and as he feared for his life, and he saw the spears entering his body, he noticed they weren't actually entering his flesh, and rather his clothes. And he noticed the hole in the spear. And then Elias Howe started to work on one of the greatest inventions of all time, the sewing machine. And in the sewing machine, he basically realized that he could put the hole in the needle at the tip, thanks to those savages. And then Larry, our third and important dreamer, Larry was dreaming of all the stories and information and all the links between them, and downloading all of this information in front of him onto the web. And he started working on an algorithm the next morning that he called initially PageRanks, and was very quickly changed to Google. So Larry Page is a big advocate of having a piece of paper and pen by your bed. He's given a lot of lectures about this because you really never know what you'll dream of in the middle of the night. And I've been doing this, and I recommend it to everyone to have a journal by your bed, to write your dreams when you remember them. Try to think before you go to sleep, will I remember my dream? This will really help actually the recollection if you're just curious the night before. But also your daydreams, those dreams that we talked about earlier that 10 years ago were happening 48% of our days. Journal those thoughts, those imaginative thoughts. And when you're with your phone, maybe sometimes for an hour a day, put it on airplane mode, or charge your phone far away when you go to sleep. Because when I look around this room, I see some of the greatest change makers in the country, and I wish for us all to have grand visions, continuously to dream big, sleep-induced ideas, fantastical, imaginative thoughts, and just remember, you never know when a group of savages might enter your subconscious and affect your world and ours. So thank you. So we're going to dream together, as mentioned. I have our bucket of dreams here, which is empty Karni. There's some paper and pens, thanks to Lee. And we're all going to close our eyes very soon, and afterwards write down the dreams that come to our minds. And in a week, every single one of you, so well done for coming, will receive an artwork that's a collective interpretation of all of our dreams.